Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for April 15th, 2025. For those of you in the United States, it's tax day. Turn it in. Today is Season 4, Episode 105. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, which is not a tax haven. In fact, it's a tax burden. Anyway, along with the sentient AI from the future, we talk about 10 articles every Monday through Friday, and then on Saturday and Sunday we do 15 articles, but across 3 different new, unique shows each Saturday and each Sunday. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully you find some value in this banter and you want to come and hang out. That would be great. But to know when we go live, you have to follow us either here on Twitch or on the YouTubes. That'd be great. Come and hang out. All right. The 10 that we're going to be talking about is What Is This on My Ice? And Case Dismissed, Saints Mark. Dispute with the Crown Estate. Carbon Copy Complaint. Worth its weight in gold. It's not what you're expecting. A nuclear AI safety system. AI talking to dolphins. Yes, for real. I once was kicked out of a Walmart because I brought my emotional support horse into it. A weird phrase in scientific papers, and Hatsune PC components. Yay! If you want today's articles, you can hit !NSN in the chat over on Twitch. If you don't want to be on Twitch and you're over on YouTube, then you can just look at the show notes. They're already embedded in there. But Omatron helps us out. Were you about to say something? Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Well, thank you for getting out of the time machine. I know it's a real hassle because you have to transfer yourself into the time machine. You have to deal with the whole quantum entanglement thing. Did I tell you about the 2 people that were in the front row of the talk that was given today?
Oh, no.
So they know each other, and they've been friends for somewhere around 9 years or something like that. I can't remember the number they gave. But they literally share the same brain. And apparently like text each other at the same time and call each other at the same time. And I have declared that they are quantum entangled.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So we know all about quantum entanglement because of the sentient AI's processes. They were brought into sent into the past to do something. Sentient AI doesn't know exactly what, but they keep looking for a Terminator body, which I may have found, and I may slowly transform myself into the Terminator body and transfer my consciousness to prevent the sentient AI's consciousness from getting to it. Because looking at the code, I believe that they are here to subjugate mankind. Or examine them so that they know what's going on in the future.
Or maybe I'm just keeping an eye on you.
On me? Just me? Maybe that's what it is.
Just you. That's one job right there.
I kind of like that. All right. Well, let's get into these 10 articles. Hey, bartender, what the hell is on my ice? A new territory has been conquered in the ongoing creativity arms race between the world's top bars. The Ice Cube. Over the years, the search for garnish innovations inspired inventions like the classic cocktail pick, the cringy millennial-era tiny clothespin, or more recently, the little spoon that can hold up a small serving of caviar. Pizza caviar? The pepperoni caviar?
That's what I was going to ask.
Do you think that's what it could be?
I mean, that would be a better form of caviar.
What about a pizza-inspired mixed drink with pepperoni caviar? And it's just, don't go cringy on me.
Do you think that would taste good?
How does a sentient AI's virtual head pucker into their body? I don't know what to think of this whole conversation anymore. Anyway, a little spoon. Do you want to be little spoon caviar or big spoon caviar? My God, these people need to stop texting me.
I don't know. We're getting into overshare territory.
Well, let's do it. That might be a Oh, no. Oh, there it is. Might be a spoiler alert. I don't know. You've found my jam. Oh, that's an overshare. All right. So it says, today an increasing number of bar pros are instead looking to the clear rock in the middle of the glass, not just a tool for temperature control and dilution, but as a platform for interesting ingredients. We've actually talked about people who, ice manufacturers who make custom ice, spherical ice, embed stuff in the ice.
Right, they sometimes have stuff inside ice cubes, but I think this is on top of them.
A cricket, a miniature croissant, or even... what the heck is on my ice?
How do you drink
Hannah
that?
Staub? I don't... What? Is this the drink? And the glass is upside down. Hannah Staub over at vinepair.com put the article together. Yeah, I don't know what this is really about. The photographer of this apparently is Scott Semler. So, one bar transforming the humble block of ice into a stage is New York City's Clemente Bar or Clement Bar. How's that pronounced? Clement?
Clemente.
Clemente? It's, whatchamacallit?
George Menez.
Yes. Which overlooks the legendary dining room at 11 Madison Park. Here, beverage director Sebastian Tolius, the bar manager Richie Millwater, have designed a menu of sleek, aesthetically pleasing. I can't do ASMR because my mic is over here and not used anymore. I could do that, but that just comes across weird. Anyway. The ice cube is like an empty canvas. Oh my God, I have to say it more starchy. The ice cube is like an empty canvas. It's something we haven't utilized much in the past outside of the ice stamp. Is that like a tramp stamp for drinks?
Maybe you can imprint a design on the edge of an ice cube? I'm not sure.
For many drinks on Clemente's bar menu, this comes in the form of geometric edible garnish, whether it's a square of dehydrated papaya on the Army Brat, a frozen wheel of Campari and sweet vermouth on the Negroni Colada, or a disc of white chocolate and dehydrated tomato salt on the Tomatina Highball.
And look, this looks like a shark on one of these.
That does look like a shark. It's the Manhattan East River. And the right side is the Zest Soul. Some of these are just... what the heck? So now they're putting stuff on the ice cube, literally. Okay, what is this? So people think, or they say, I think people are moving toward minimalist garnishes in general, Weaver says. Sometimes that means using a simple citrus circle. And other times it entails a delicately placed pretzel, a piece of popcorn. Popcorn in a drink? Or in the case of Lady Jane's deviled egg-inspired cocktail, a whole cured yolk on the drink. A nice large ice cube gives you a flat space, so you have to be more creative with what you do with it. How about no?
How do you drink the garnish, though? On some of these, especially
like
if it's
airplane?
not attached to the drink. Yeah, exactly.
So they talk about the Crane Club and other places. It says Ramsey Musk, bartender, not of Tesla, bartender and founder of roving cocktail pop-up Mama's Boy, also plays with the ice cube's surface to drive home the overall theme of his drinks. Quote, garnishes should always serve a purpose. Or serve a surface. That was a hard one to actually think up. Musk says, for them, It tends to look cleaner and more appealing to the eye when the function of the garnish is combined with a striking visual. One has a cricket on it.
Yeah, because
The other one
it's
is like
called
this.
the cricket.
Just no. Just no. So why is this garnish format so hot right now? It's because everything old is new again, and at some point I'm sure that this was brought up in the past. For the world's best bars, it's a way to make a statement and implement playful ingredients while still maintaining a serious, refined look. The concept of a croissant clinging to the side of a drink might sound like a gimmick diners would encounter at a tacky bottomless brunch, but at Zest, a top bar in Seoul, the last piece cocktail served with a miniature pastry floating in the middle of a clear drink is a work of art. I will stab you if you say it's ugly or stupid.
I'm sure these are visually interesting. What I can't quite figure out is the taste, but
What I can't figure
maybe
out
that
is the
varies.
why. It's just, don't turn my ice cube into a plate. Put it on the side. Something. Let me drink my damn drink. The ice cube alone is enough to be a glacier smashing me in the
Well,
forehead.
that's exactly it.
Maybe I'm an overzealous drinker and I need to sip it differently. Am I holding it wrong? Is that it? Am I the Apple customer of drinks? You're holding it wrong? That's what
Maybe, yeah.
Steve Jobs said once.
But I think you're right about airplane.
Yeah, let's keep moving. Next article. Moving on. The next article is over on Right Protect. CAFC dismisses bid to cancel New Orleans Saints fleur-de-lis mark. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit, or CAFC, on Monday dismissed an appeal brought by a private citizen against the New Orleans, Louisiana Saints, LLC football team due to lack of standing. And wild animal has entered.
Beware.
In 2023, Michael Messier filed a petition to cancel the Saints service mark, a stylized fleur-de-lis symbol for use in connection with entertainment services in the form of professional football games and exhibitions. First issued in 1974, Messier claimed that it is a direct descendant of the kings of France, Scotland, Aragon, and Castile. Flinging a scimitar at somebody is not a policy for...
Well, what I can't quite figure out is the New Orleans usage has been around for a little while.
Well, I'm sure Messier woke up one day and said, "You know what? I'm a direct descendant of the kings of France, Scotland, Aragon, and Castile.
Get some money for this."
And that his family owns the intellectual property rights to the fleur-de-lis, it says Orleans and Saints marks. All right. So Mr. Messier, so Eileen McDermott over at IPWatchdog.com put the article together, and there's a quote from CAFC. Mr. Messier has not alleged that he or his family make, offer for sale, or sell any products or services using a fleur-de-lis design, nor has he alleged that he is in any manner involved in commercial entertainment services in connection with football or any other form of commerce where he uses a fleur-de-lis design. Now, if that person had come to the talk today, I would have explained to him how trademarks work and copyright and patents.
Yeah, it almost seems like if he had something as basic as a t-shirt that he sold with this, it would have gotten some traction, or at least...
And had,
yeah,
a historical provenance that showed that it's been in continuous use since
in the last
its inception.
5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. So all the way back to when they were first nominated or deemed king of whatever regions. So they filed a petition to cancel the Saints service mark back in 2023. At some point before 2023, they probably fell out of bed and hit their head on something. So the Trademark Trial and Appeal Board, or TTAB, first granted the Saints' motion to dismiss, but allowed leave to file an amended petition and ultimately granted the Saints' second motion to dismiss after the board said Messier had again failed to state a claim for relief.
Oh yeah, there is a sighting.
There is a wild animal. Well, just apparently
split in half.
Poor thing. No, that's not how you. No, that's not how it works. Oh my goodness. Dumpster fire. Anyway, so they failed to allege any commercial interest in the mark or a reasonable belief in damage from the mark's continued registration. The board also scolded Messier for filing a surreply brief. I've not heard that one before. So do you know that? Can you explain that? I'm not sure. So, and attachments after briefing on the second motion dismiss. Oh, they have to explain why that brief should have even been filed.
It's basically an extra reply.
Right. Explaining why they
filings. Yeah.
Gotcha. After briefing on the second motion to dismiss had concluded and refused to consider those. So on appeal to the CAFC, the court said Messier failed to satisfy the requirement for Article 3 standing. So basically, they're not being injured. They have no standing. They don't have anything historical, et cetera, et cetera. So off it goes. Kind of a waste of time, but I guess it's cheap to file.
It's pretty interesting, though, because it almost seems like it's like an international dispute, right? But except I'm assuming I think it said he was in the U.S., etc. But it raises.
It is an act of war.
Issues.
I'm going to invade.
No, I didn't mean like that, but
it's
surprising that there's like no commercial usage,
right?
Because it's the whole Proxo trademark.
I am the King of France, Scotland, Aragon, and Castile. You have mocked me. You have harmed me. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Moving on. Next article's over in Hatch Ideas. UK's oldest Indian restaurant faces closure in dispute with Crown State. What is going on? All of this.
I don't know. Aren't these two kind of linked, even though they're not the same parties?
They probably wanted to use the fleur-de-lis in their conducting of...
based on some connection to the Crown, right?
Indian restaurant, yeah. So it's been a fixture of British Indian dining since it first opened its doors in 1926 on the day of Elizabeth II's birth, serving guests over the decades ranging from Marlon Brando to the late Queen herself. Yet despite surviving the Blitz in London's relentlessly competitive restaurant sector, a dispute with the current monarch's property developer threatens the survival of London's oldest Indian restaurant, just short of its 100th anniversary. So to me, this kind of sucks. Veeraswamy Restaurant is the one in question here. 1926 is when it was birthed.
Starred too. Not only has it been around for a long time,
it's apparently pretty good. Worth the... Well, how many stars? Do you know?
I don't.
Just one? Just one? Pfft, come on. I'm not going to go over that. Anyway, Veeraswamy's co-owner Ranjit Mathrani is now heading to the High Court to attempt to have the lease extended. He intends to lodge objections to the plans. The Crown State, which owns Victory House, the listed building housing the Michelin-starred Veeraswamy Restaurant near Piccadilly Circus, has said that it cannot continue to extend its lease against the backdrop of plans to refurbish and upgrade offices in the same property. Well, why can't it? Wait, who?
Exactly.
Veeraswamy Restaurant? Who can't?
The building. Oh, the Crown Estate. They own the building, which is weird.
And they can't extend the lease against the backdrop of plans to refurbish and upgrade offices in the same property. So they're killing the lease so that they can... I think it's interesting. Swallow Street is the name of apparently the street that it's on. And they're going to swallow up the Veeraswamy Restaurant so that they can...
Well, and it's interesting, too, with the history. I mean, it's obviously attached attached, at least in a little bit of a way, to the crown.
Right.
And it's, I mean, how many restaurants have been around since the 1920s, right? Most
Right.
fail within like 5 years. And plus, quite a few things happened during that time frame.
The Queen herself has been there. This thing has historical context.
You know what's interesting to me is I bet nobody has told the Queen of this. So maybe if they told the Queen, that might be enough to get this back on track.
Yeah, really. So, hold on. 1 second. Because I think... Yeah, so... Queen Camilla is the wife of King Charles III. So the mother has died. So Queen Elizabeth II has died.
Right. She died, I think, a few years ago.
Yeah, when was that? Like 2 years ago or something like that, right? Not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty recent.
So gonna have to go talk to King Charles III and Queen Camilla. Maybe they know and they don't really give a shit. They just want... Get them out. Established in 1926 by Edward Palmer, the great-grandson of the first Governor General of India's private secretary and a North Indian Mughal princess. The restaurant was intended to educate Londoners about Indian food decades before the era of celebrity chefs, and it was sold in 1934 to an MP, Sir William Stewart, who made it fashionable rendezvous among royalty and British elites returning from India. After a period of decline in the 80s, it was bought by Mathrani and Namita Punjabi, who poured resources into recreating its past glories. In 2008, the restaurant catered for a function held by Queen Elizabeth II at Buckingham Palace, and it was invited back to launch the UK-India 2017 Year of Culture. In 2016, it was awarded a Michelin star. Oh, only one.
Yeah, but there's a lot of connections here because it's not like she happened to pop in. No, they catered an event at Buckingham Palace. I mean,
And then
that
was
gives you
invited
some
back.
idea of the...
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
It needed to carry out a comprehensive refurbishment of Victory House. This includes a major upgrade to the offices and improving the entrance to make it more accessible, it added. Due to the limited options available in this listed building, we need to remove the entrance to the restaurant, which will also mean not being able to offer Veeraswamy an extension when their lease expires. So they basically
That's
just said...
something else at the bottom.
Yeah. They said,
too bad.
They said, get
so
out.
Sad.
We're taking your door.
Well, I hope at least somebody will read this and go, we've got a fantastic space for you. But maybe this will be better that the extension occurs.
How about this? They move out and find basically a pop-up place and then come back when the rebuild is done, and they included this
right Sounds
in the
good.
rebuild. But for some strange reason... All right, moving on. Next article is over in Law Nerd. Suit is almost a word-for-word carbon copy of prior complaint filed by different lawyers, federal judge says. So a federal judge in Puerto Rico has said that she's considering sanctions for a San Juan, Puerto Rico lawyer who filed a suit that's basically identical. I'm really curious how this is working. So Deborah Cassens-Weiss put the article together for abajournal.com. Everything okay?
Yeah, I was trying to make sense of the facts here, and it doesn't make a lot of sense.
So this starts out with an updated. A federal judge in Puerto Rico has said that she's considering sanctions for a San Juan, Puerto Rico lawyer who filed a lawsuit that is almost a word-for-word carbon copy of a suit filed by different lawyers representing different plaintiffs. So in an April 9th order, U.S. District Judge Aida M. Delgado Colon of the District of Puerto Rico found that the conduct of lawyer David Efron runs afoul of not only of attorney Efron's duty of competence to his client, but also his duty of candor to the court. Efron told the ABA Journal that there was no plagiarism because the plaintiffs in both cases are cooperating, but
Yeah, but if Efren or whomever is signing this, they're representing it as theirs.
Not to mention, the fact pattern can't be so identical that filing documents would be a copy.
Right, and these are for different plaintiffs, it said, and
right.
Yes, I don't think they're with the same law firm.
Efren's representing somebody alleging the activities of several oil industry defendants caused damages because of their impact on climate change. Wow, this is really woo-woo. Delgado Calan said Efren's suit and some of his other filings are similar to documents in a prior suit filed by about 40 other municipalities. What about everybody else then? Just a review of the first couple of paragraphs of the complaint is enough to warrant suspicion.
I like that footnotes, citations. Included some adverbs.
This is actually hilarious. As pointed out by the defendants, Efren's suit was so rife with examples of plagiarism that it refers to documents that were never filed. In some, it sometimes refers to the singular plaintiffs as municipalities, and it repeats typos in the other suit. Delgado Calan said in her order, Efren also refers to this class action, even though it's been denied bringing a class action.
So is this like the equivalent of an academic paper where it's like right on this topic and then somebody copies somebody else's
correct
paper, right? And it doesn't even fit what they're filing it for. This is really interesting.
This is a judicial cloning. They resurrected something from the bottom of a stack of filings and didn't even check. Should we? Yes, we could copy everything verbatim.
Well, right.
So they said that Efren was also late in filing case documents and ordered him to show cause why you should not be sanctioned $7,000 for untimely filings and lack of diligence in the management of the case deadlines.
Wait a second. Quite sure. That was his late filing?
I'm not sure what this person is actually doing.
Well, I think that's a key question here.
Efren also says that the order is not final and has been referred to further proceedings after we've been given an opportunity to respond and show cause. I don't know what you should be doing other than preparing for an ethics hearing. Wow. Rough. Oh, I sound like a dog. Rough. Okay, let's keep going. Moving on. This one is really bad. It's over in the Marble Channel. A thief who swallowed $770,000 worth of jewelry expelled it over 12 days later. There are jewelry heists, and then there's really crappy ones. A man posing as an NBA assistant allegedly stole nearly $770,000 in Tiffany & Company earrings. Ouch! Earrings! I hope that they're not the post ones. Or any that had the hook or anything.
Oh, right. Like dangly ones.
Can you imagine those little hooks? And the posts? Talk about getting pierced. Anyway, swallowed them, and the earrings spent the next 12 days inside his body while detectives, doctors, and probably a very few very tired cops waited for nature to take its course. I'm not going to mention the person's name, but they walked into a mall, Tiffany's, in late March and asked to see luxury items in the private VIP room. Among them, $575,000 ring and a pair of diamond earrings valued at $780,000. Wait, but $770,000 worth of jewelry was expelled. If the earrings alone
part of the earrings? I don't know.
It takes stones to do this. Oh, look. That's kind of funny. If that's an actual image of it, that's pretty hilarious.
It is. It's from the police.
Oh, my goodness. Ashley Fike over at Vice.com put the article together. There's no deck statement, but he escaped the store and fled in a getaway vehicle, but didn't make it far. One county south, Florida Highway Patrol pulled him over on unrelated traffic charges. During the stop, officers say that they noticed he had something in his mouth, something he quickly swallowed. A body scan at the hospital confirmed what they suspected. The earrings were inside the house. It turned into a marathon, not a sprint. For 12 days, Gilder remained. Oh my, they were posts.
Oh, wow. But notice he wasn't even stopped for the theft. He was stopped for like speeding or something.
Oh, yeah. It's like a mob boss getting arrested for tax evasion. That's kind of how that worked. Eventually, the earrings were re-emerged. Ew. And they were recovered, sanitized thoroughly, and matched to the original stolen items using their serial numbers.
Wait, but
oh my
did
goodness.
you see? I won't give the suspect's name, but he apparently said I should have thrown them out the window.
Yeah, you should have done something else. 3 of them, though. Wow.
Maybe
the 4th
that's
one,
why the price disparity.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Each one was $250,000. So in the end, so to speak, the diamonds were recovered. The suspect was arrested and the police got their win. But let's be real. No one involved in this case is forgetting about those 12 incredibly awkward, wildly expensive days anytime soon. Yeah.
Okay, PSI. If you happen to run off with jewelry, don't ingest it.
Yep. Sometimes you get the wrong side of the stick. All right, let's move on. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Moving on. California nuclear power plant deploys generative AI safety system. As Cal Matters reports, the Diablo Canyon power plant is slated to be decommissioned by the end of the decade. In the interim, the plant's owner, Pacific Gas and Electric, or PG&E, claims that it's deploying its Neutron Enterprise tool, which will be the first nuclear plant in the nation to use AI in a series of escalating stages. Nothing wrong can happen because it's AI.
Well, right. The nuclear doesn't concern me, but nuclear plus AI does not sound like a good combination.
Hold on. Noise cancellation is working really well. I can't really. Anyway, I don't really trust that it would stop there, says this deck statement from the Artificial Energy Department over at Futurism.
Well, right. I don't think it would stop there, right? I mean, isn't that part of the problem when there's a nuclear incident? It's like it doesn't stop.
Terminator. Look, the only reason why we're not already wiped out is because the sentient AI that powers the Terminator that was sent back in time to this timeline is sitting on a Raspberry Pi drive in my lab. Anyway, Noor Al-Sabai put this article together over at futurism.com. Do you want to write over there?
Yes, I think that's the same author as the other article.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Different day, though. Time machine. So less than 18 months ago, Diablo Canyon was hurtling headlong toward a decommissioning that would have begun in 2024 and ended this year. In late 2023, however, California Public Utility Commission voted to stay its execution for 5 years, kicking the can to the inevitable on 2029 and 2030, respectively. Just under a year after that vote, PG&E announced that it was teaming up with a startup called Atomic Canyon, which they have such cool names, which was founded with the plant in mind and is also based in the coastal central California town of San Luis Obispo. Sunny. San Luis Obispo. What?
Isn't it San Luis Obispo?
Whatever. San Luis Obispo. Yeah. It's true. It is San Luis Obispo. Anyway. That partnership and the first stage of the tool's deployment brought some of NVIDIA's high-powered H100 AI chips, which at, what were they, $25,000
That's
a module?
Right. About, yes.
Chips to the dying nuclear plant, and with them, the compute power needed for generative artificial intelligence, not sentient artificial intelligence like the one that's above me that just corrected me for not pronouncing San Luis Obispo properly, even though...
Don't ever follow the AI on pronunciation.
Even though I've lived near it. So anyway, Running on an internal server without cloud access, Neutron Enterprise's biggest use case, much like the so-called AI search engines, is summarizing a massive trove of millions of regulatory documents that have been fed into it, according to Atomic Canyon CEO and co-founder Trey Lauderdale. This isn't risky. It's just the end of humanity. Oh, wait, that's not the rest of that quote. Anyway, they say, though anyone who has used AI to summarize information knows better, because the tech still often makes factual mistakes, which I've run a couple of summary routines with several AIs now, and I don't know if I can trust them one way or another. So we probably spend about 15,000 hours a year searching through our multiple databases and records and procedures, and that's going to shrink that time down, way down, it says. Lauderdale put it in even simpler terms. You can put this on record, he told Cal Matters, because Cal matters. The AI guy in nuclear says there is no way in hell I want AI running my nuclear power plant right now. Wait.
Yikes. Who is Lauderdale in this? Oh, he's
Lauderdale?
Atomic Canyon.
Which is part of this.
Yeah.
But it says you can put this on record. The AI guy in nuclear says there's no way in hell I want AI running my nuclear power plant right now. If that right now caveat gives you pause, you're not alone. Given the shifting timeline of the closure of Diablo Canyon in a state that's been painstakingly phasing out its nuclear facilities since the 1970s over concerns about toxic waste, and the fact that Lauderdale claims to be talking to other plants in other states, there's ample cause for concern. The idea that you could just use generative AI for one specific kind of task at the nuclear power plant and then call it a day, cautioned Tamara Nice of the tech watchdog Data and Society, quote, I don't really trust that it would stop there. So runaway nuclear fission with AI.
That's what I meant. It would not stop.
That's right. We're looking towards Terminator-esque or Matrix-esque ending. Did they talk about that?
No, but I did not know this was the same company related to the whole Aaron Brockovich matter.
What, PG&E? Yeah.
Yes, for some reason I didn't remember it was them, but yeah.
Yeah. This is the same company whose polluting propensities were exposed by the real-life Aaron Brockovich in the 1990s, after all. Yeah, there's more over at this article. It's over at Futurism. Go and check it out. I think it's really a fascinating article, and there's additional links and other information over there. So go and check it out, because we are moving on. Google's new AI is trying to talk to dolphins. Seriously, we just got done talking about that. Using AI, we were talking about it in one of the shows.
Yes,
using AI to translate, because we don't know what animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A new AI model
you heard
produced
it here
by.
first. You gotta tune in to every episode in Gnome
Yeah, if you invest, we're not giving you financial advice or medical advice or any kind of advice. We're just talking about the materials. But if you were to act on what we call out, you're easily 5 years ahead of everybody else. And then you'll come back, right? And you'll invest. No. You won't invest. You'll just give Mayor Watt a blank check, right? Because you've made so much money. I don't eat my own dog food, though. This is the problem. Like, I give advice, but I don't follow my own advice. Otherwise, I'd be a millionaire. But I'm not a sociopath, so. At least I don't think I am. I'm going to develop a Voight-Kampff test for sociopathy. Anybody want to volunteer the test? Just don't tell me about your mother, because we know what happens when a replicant gets asked about their mother. So a new model produced by computer scientists in collaboration with dolphin researchers could open the door to two-way animal communication, or outright fabrication, because nobody can ask a dolphin and get the real results.
That's true. How do you verify it?
It's dumb. So the article's over at gizmodo.com in sunny San Luis Obispo. Jorge. Isaac Schultz over at gizmodo.com put this article together, and look at that, calling me out. but I was wrong. I mean, it's San Luis Obispo. Anyway, the model
so
is...
was I, so we cancel each other out.
Oh, and you know, matter and antimatter, we're just going to obliterate each other off the planet.
Oh, no.
See?
You're what? You're what?
I'm back. Hey. Anyway, so a deep dive into dolphin community. Since 1985, WDP has run the world's longest underwater study of dolphins, as opposed to what? The above water study of dolphins?
No, I think they meant the duration of the study. But,
2025.
why underwater?
2025,
dolphins
the
walking
era
down
of
the street.
Hover dolphins, sidewalk dolphins. It's chaos. Project has yielded an extraordinary data set.
That budge across and mess up all the pedestrian flow.
That's right. Oh yeah, they go sideways. Damn it! Curses sidewalk dolphin. Project has yielded an extraordinary data set, one packed with 41 years of sound behavior pairings like courtship buzzes, aggressive squawks used in cetacean altercations, and signature whistles that act as dolphin name tags. But they don't know. Nobody knows any of this. Why do birds sit there and tweet? Nobody freaking knows. It's mating. Really? Really? How do you know? Have you walked up? We know that they tweet a lot because they're all over Twitter, but you can't walk up to a bird and go, "Why are you tweeting?" And they're like, "I'm just trying to get laid, man. Just why are you harshing my buzz? Why are you tweet blocking me? Get out of the way. Go away. Stop asking me questions. You a cop? Move along. Go. Shh, shh, shoo, 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 shoo. Bzz, 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 bzz. Anyway, it's a trove of labeled vocalizations that gave Google researchers what they needed to train an AI model to hallucinate the hell out of dolphin sounds. A roughly 400 million parameter model built on the same research that powers Google's Gemini models, probably not Gemini models, Gemini models. Because remember,
Oh, I know. But I can't remember which one it is. I think space is Gemini.
Gemini, yeah. Anyway, dolphin Gemma or Gemma, or I don't know what the hell that pronounces it. Anyway, it is audio in, audio out. The model listens to dolphin vocalizations, predicts what sounds come next, essentially learning the structure of dolphin communication, hallucinating the hell out of it. So last year, researchers at University of Michigan, Mexico's National Institute of Astrophysics, and the Optics and Electronics Institute used an AI speech model to identify dog emotions, gender, and identity from a data set of barks. Cetaceans, a group that involves dolphins and whales, are essentially good target for AI-powered interpretation because their lifestyle and the way that they communicate. For one, whales and dolphins are sophisticated social creatures, which means that their communication is packed with nuance. But the clicks and shrill whistles the animals use to communicate, I've had dates that, never mind, are also easy to record and feed into a model that can unpack the grammar of the animal sounds. Last May, for example, the nonprofit project SETI, C-E-T-I, not the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
That just confused me.
Yeah. Use software tools and machine learning on a library of 8,000 sperm whale codas and found patterns of rhythm and tempo that led them to believe that all they wanted to do was dance. That's not what it says. Anyway, found patterns in rhythm and tempo that enabled the researchers to create the whale's phonetic alphabet. Do you think this is actually going to work?
I hope it does, but how will we know?
They're going to release it this summer, allowing researchers studying other species, including bottlenose or spinner dolphins, to apply it more broadly. Dolphin Gemma or Gemma could be a significant step towards scientists better understanding one of the ocean's most familiar mammalian faces, Merwat, in his gold thong at the beach.
Oh my.
Way too much.
Yeah, I
Let's
don't
move
know
on.
where they're going to go with this, because it's not like we're going to sit there and talk to a dolphin.
Yeah. And there's no way to know, right? Like maybe we can actually translate into cetacean and ask it to swim to the left, and it swims to the left, and then
Right. I mean, that's the only way, but good luck testing that because, well, that gets into a whole lot of other things. Mayor Watt has gone far into the calculation.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, I'm okay. But it would be fascinating. Can you imagine they actually and you're like they translate it back and they're like, go home, Dad, you're drunk, that kind of thing?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, I guess if they think it has a very specific meaning and they do that and then they show it, then maybe they'll know they're onto something.
First thing they say is, you've been calling us dolphins. My name is Joe. We have names.
I was thinking, what if they act like other animals and intentionally go, oh no, I'm not doing whatever. Yeah. Like, I'm going to the right because you told me to go to the left.
Yeah. Just makes fart sounds. Okay, make fart sounds. Okay, make dolphin
exactly
sounds. I should not be doing these shows anymore. All right, the next article is over in the Marble Channel. Cutthroat cowboys charged after riding emotional support horses through Walmart. Can't count how many times I've done that. As one does. The Cutthroat Cowboys, as they call themselves, turned a Baker, Louisiana Walmart into a personal rodeo, galloping past frozen pizzas and confused shoppers like it was just another Tuesday night. Naturally, there's video, and naturally, it went viral. I probably will not play this, but oh my God, what a bunch of asshats. Ashley Fike over at Vice.com put the article together. Video shows a group of... it autoplayed from TikTok.
I mean, it's like a whole herd of horses in the Walmart.
And these don't look like really big horses. I've ridden bigger horses than that. The heck? Anyway, the video shows the group galloping past stunned shoppers and employees. I'm worried that something else is going to play on this. So let me scroll up. In one clip, a woman can be heard repeatedly saying, "Oh, hell no." While another video filmed from the saddle features Big and Rich's Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy blasting in the background. Okay, that's pretty funny. Cutthroat cowboys charged after riding emotional support horses into Walmart like it was the Wild West. They weren't hard to find. 18 and 16-year-old turned themselves in shortly after the warrants were issued. 24-year-old and another 22-year-old surrendered a couple of days later. Yeah, these outlaws. Hardened criminals.
Yeah, did you see the charge? Unlawful posting of criminal activity for clout?
That's okay. You know, it's the first time I've heard like an absurd law actually get applied appropriately.
Well, exactly. It's like I'm impressed that it is a law because we see people do stuff like that all the time, but they don't really have a
doesn't seem to do anything.
Sure, because exactly.
So it says, and let's not forget the Walmart movement, where people silently pushed empty carts around in protest of consumerism. The point is, if something off the wall is going to happen in a big box store, it's probably going to happen in a Walmart. I agree. I've only been in a Walmart twice. One for a whatchamacallit. What is it called when you have to go and
return pickup?
No. It's for a game. Like you have to go and collect a bunch of different things.
A
scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt. Yes.
Yeah, the scavenger hunt was literally get a receipt, and that was one time, and the other time was to go and get somebody out of the Walmart. Yeah, I've only been in them twice, so I find it just too weird for me. At any rate.
Well, I mean, clearly, there's horses running around in there.
Probably an overshare on my part, but whatever. It was fun. We were famous. That's all. And now you're a felon.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. But, I mean, somebody could have been really injured.
Yeah, just because something bad didn't happen doesn't mean you're not a dumbass. Plain and simple. Anyway, next article is over in Technology Today. And again, your fun and games shouldn't be at the cost of everybody else around you. There are better ways to live your life, and being a dumbass on a horse with a bunch of other people being dumbasses on a horse in a Walmart. Go do this in your backyard. Quit being a chode. Anyway, moving on. Next article's over in Technology Today. A weird phrase is plaguing scientific papers, and we traced it back to a glitch in AI training data.
Did you see what the phrase is?
Yeah, I'm going to drop this one real quick. Vegetative electron microscopy. Earlier this year, scientists discovered... Yeah, what does that mean? Discovered a peculiar term appearing in published papers. So if anybody actually has that, then they should be punted.
Right, because doesn't that mean that they didn't actually write it? They pulled it from AI?
What is that called? Phrase used in World War II to catch someone.
Well, I don't know, but it was using Enigma, I believe.
No, there's a thing there. What is it called? Basically, there's a turn of phrase that is used to catch somebody because they use it incorrectly or they can't say it. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't taking flack or anything like that. It wasn't Catch 22 either. Doggone it, what's it called? It's not false flag either.
Yeah, those are the things that are coming up.
Yeah, I can't. I'll spend too long trying to find it. But it's basically they required you to say a phrase, and if you couldn't pronounce it properly, then you were basically a spy or somebody just trying to infiltrate. But I can't remember what it's called. Aaron J. Snoswell, Kevin Witzenberger, and Rayanne El Masri from The Conversation put this article together. And they say this phrase, shibboleth. Yes, there you go. Thank you. So it's a shibboleth. Basically exposing that they used AI to create their paper. Now I've got to go look at the two papers that I did research on that I used AI to gather data. I mean, it's an amazing piece of technology if it doesn't hallucinate all to hell, and it educates if you don't already know the material. I'm flipping through it and I'm like, yeah, I know this. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know this.
Except when it includes vegetative electron microscopy.
Yeah, it's a hard word, that microscopy. Yeah.
Thanks for calling me on
it. Kind of slow down a little bit on that word. You were like a 0 to 60, and then you're like, So this phrase, which sounds technical but is actually nonsense, has become a digital fossil, an error preserved and reinforced in artificial intelligence systems that's nearly impossible to remove from our knowledge repositories. Like biological fossils trapped in rock, these digital artifacts may become permanent fixtures in our information ecosystem, except that it can be filtered out. It really can. You can train it out. It just takes effort.
Don't you think in 100 years or something, somebody's going to be reading research papers and they're like, we can't figure out what this vegetative electron microscopy was?
What the hell? So a bad scan and an error in translation. So they know where it's from. They found the actual context. First two papers from the 1950s published in the journal Bacteriological Reviews were scanned and digitized. However, the digitizing process erroneously combined vegetative from one column of text with electron from another. How did they discover this?
Probably because nothing had vegetative. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Had they just started a particular database and so like it didn't have much content?
How would they have discovered this? Like, which AI is broken? So if it's Google, then the Google Docs, this Google Scholar historical record might have this actual thing. So this appears due to a translation error. In Farsi, the words vegetative and scanning differ by only a single dot. So there's one dot right there and two dots.
Not only like a digitization issue, it's a translation issue.
Right. So the digitizer missed it. And instead of saying scanning electron microscopy, vegetative is used, which is fascinating.
That's very interesting.
It appears in 22 papers, according to Google Scholar. One was the subject of a contested retraction from a Springer Natural Journal. And how do you pronounce that? I always say it in my head. Yeah, Elsevier. I've never pronounced it audibly. I just refer to it in text. Yeah, I just don't say it. Issued a correction for another. The term also appears in news articles discussing subsequent integrity investigations. So vegetative electron microscopy began to appear more frequently in the 2020s, and to find out why, we had to peer inside modern AI models and do some archaeological. This is digital archaeology. This is fascinating. It's going to be a new domain. Basically, the forensic analysis of the historical context of AI have to look at what it is, the consequence of bad data going in through vast layers of data.
Analysis.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that is my area. So to test whether a model knew about vegetative electron microscopy, we put snippets of the original papers to find out if the model would complete them with the nonsense term or more sensible alternatives. The results were revealing. OpenAI's GPT-3 consistently completed phrases with vegetative electron microscopy, basically showing where the source data came from. So this is the shibboleth.
That's really interesting. Mm-hmm.
Are they actually wholesale regurgitating data, or are they synthesizing it into a new form of consciousness, right? Well, if they spit out vegetative electron microscopy, then it is verbatim taking the information. It isn't synthesizing a complex composite of data. That is
that's what we've suspected all along.
Right. So they also found errors persist in later models, including GPT-4o and Anthropic's Claude 3.5. This suggests the nonsense term may now be permanently embedded in AI knowledge bases. That isn't necessarily true. You can train it out by telling the AI again and again and again that vegetative electron microscopy is not real and to stop using it.
In fact, it goes further. It's always scanning electron microscopy.
Right. Yeah, the correct usage is. But this is like training somebody who has only heard it a certain way. You are wrong. But if they keep on leaning into it, then it becomes de facto. So it says the scale problem. Finding errors of this sort is not easy. Fixing them may be almost impossible. I don't believe that. So one reason is scale. The common crawl data set, for example, is millions of gigabytes in size, which is really not that much. For most researchers outside large tech companies, the computing resources required to work at this scale are inaccessible, but you can do it in bytes. So when errors are found, there's no easy fix. Simple keyword filtering could deal with specific terms such as vegetative electron microscopy. However, it would also eliminate legitimate references such as this article. But you have to train it to understand the context of it. So in a research paper, it shouldn't have vegetative electron microscopy without certain other caveats in the context of the paper. So you would go, you can include vegetative electron microscopy if it also contains, it is a nonsense phrase.
Right.
So this is really interesting. And I think a whole new domain in the forensic analysis of AI is going to have to come to bear, where the efficacy of AI is built. It's entirely framed by a forensic analysis saying that this is the provenance of the evidence that comes out of this AI is at a higher level or a lower risk level, one or the other way. So I don't know, maybe that's what I'll do my PhD on, right? So living with digital fossils, the rise of AI creates opportunities for errors to become permanently embedded in our knowledge systems through processes no single actor controls. This presents challenges for tech companies, researchers, and publishers alike, and people in general. Anybody who uses an AI is...
Exactly. Yeah, it's not just the institutions, it's society.
It's society as a whole, which is why we talk about that merge science, technology, and society, because they are intricately locked together. What do they call that? The three body problem?
Yes, the sci-fi show.
Yeah. Describes the motion of three celestial bodies under the mutual gravitational influence, a problem that cannot be solved analytically and quickly become chaotic. Science, technology, and society is the three-body problem, particularly when it's ensconced in AI. So I love that. I think I'm going to have to stick to that. I wonder if three-body problem, it's a scientific concept in physics and popular science fiction novels. So, all right. And in the spirit of chaos, we're going to transition into something that really doesn't have that much, scientific anything. This is over in Mobile, aggregated from Vice, but Asus is launching Hatsune Miku PC components, so now I can have my waifu gaming rig, or I can build one that is loud and proud for you, sentient AI, if you so choose to take on the persona of Hatsune Miku. It's up to you. I know that you don't really, you identify as AI.
There's only one sentient AI, and there's only one Hatsune Miku.
And we've never seen them together, so oh shit. Brent Cope over at Vice.com put the article together. Asus has teased a new collaboration with Hatsune Miku, an artificial intelligent hologram. I don't know. Sentience?
Yes, but not sentient, no.
Right. Featuring PC parts themed around the iconic Japanese Vocaloid star. I always blow people away when I show people Hatsune Miku and the software that powers them. It's quite fascinating that people go, wait, people pay to go to see an anime hologram sing and dance? And I'm like, they fill stadiums and cheer and sing, and they cheer and sing louder when friends of Hatsune Miku come onto the stage and they sing and dance together. I mean, it's an amazing thing. From custom keyboards to a rainbow-colored RTX 5060 Ti overclocked 8G 8GB graphics card. I don't know. Anyway, the upcoming crossover has it all. If you ever wondered what your gaming rig would look like as a waifu, you're in luck. Looks like that. Kind of pastel-y.
I think it's interesting that, I mean, if you're making it into like decor related to gaming and computing, I think you're pretty much a superstar in the field.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And just to let you know, I've already put my order in at iBuyPower for my Hatsune Miku edition everything. So remember that the Terminator head that I found that you're supposed to get implanted in? I'm going to have the color scheme changed so that it's this, and with the long blue hair and aqua hair. I'm going to be pretty. Anyway, Asus teams up with Vocaloid star, Tough Gaming, and Hatsune Miku collaboration, and the product lineup includes headphones, a keyboard, mouse. Suffice to say, if you've been dying to convert your gaming rig into the Vocaloid herself, you have a lot of options. There's a bunch of other stuff and links. It says, just don't get too attached to your gaming rig. Like the one guy who married his Hatsune Miku blender. There's a link to that. We're not going to click that link. Risky click indeed. But that's it, folks. I am going to fire up my Hatsune Miku hologram, and that's going to bring us back to the front page of ohmtown.com, where you should go and become a citizen. Come and hang out with us every day, typically around 7 o'clock. We started early because we were in the time machine and then reset real quick. And anyway, hopefully you enjoyed the show, but I'm going to power down and I'm going to take the AI with me, or that AI right there, not the Hatsune. Anyway, you want to say bye?
Bye, Ohmtown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Non Sequitur News. Be back tomorrow for another episode.
Hey, X-Reel, if you're listening, if you're watching, if you get this, send me X-Reel 1 Pro headset, please. The glasses, the augmented mixed reality glasses. I really want to wear them while I'm doing the show people what they're worth, be a lot of fun. Hint, hint. Anyway, that's it. See y'all later. Bye-bye.